Imagine Makeup Artist. This is one of those Imagine games. If you don't know, during the 2000s, Ubisoft put out a ton of like games for girls. And some of those, they just basically took Japanese games and localized them into the US. I forget the Japanese name for this one, but I'm sure if you look up Imagine Makeup Artist, you will find it. But yeah, I was kind of interested in this game, weirdly enough, because I was playing a visual novel called Amagami, and in there they're talking about like how these characters learned how to put makeup on and stuff. And something I kind of always recognize is like as a guy, as somebody who is like a normal guy who doesn't like do anything super like feminine in any regard. I have never really learned how makeup works. So Imagine Makeup Artist seemed like a good opportunity to get like, you know, a gamified version of learning how makeup works. Obviously, how true that is a whole other thing. But yeah, it's a pretty cute game, though. Basically, kind of the core concept of this game is that you are this girl who I think moves into a makeup studio, basically. And you can kind of customize your curl, you know, you're basically your own created character. So I'm Benalina Yoli, as I always am in these games. And you can choose between like a few different types of looks for your character. But once you get into the game itself, you know, there's a lot of different like clothing customization, hairstyles, and things like that. But you know, once you have your character, you basically are living in the top floor of this makeup studio, and your job is to learn how to do makeup, and then you have to go get your license and stuff. And kind of the game takes place over the course of like a whole year, where basically you work with different clients, go to different lessons, and learn the fundamentals of makeup. And the kind of the nice thing about the year timeline thing is that it basically gives them an excuse to go through like the seasons of makeup. Like, I don't really know much about this, but it seems like, at least with how this game implies, is that there's different types of makeup for different types of seasons. So there's like summery kind of looks and wintry kind of looks and things like that. And the clothing and all that stuff kind of updates throughout the game. So it's got this cool, cute little thing where like the fashion and the styles you're doing throughout the game are kind of changing. Now, somebody who doesn't really know anything about makeup, I will say I kind of came into this pretty not sure how to do it much of anything. The game tries to give you some basic explanations. Like during the spring, they pretty much just kind of give you some like simple, like, hey, put like pink eyeshadow on, or pink lipstick, and just kind of like combine these different similar colored things. But as you kind of go through the season, you're kind of given harder and harder jobs. Well, you can choose from harder and harder jobs. And those have like more complicated needs that might require a more diverse range of colors and things like that. But early on, the game's definitely very simple in that regard. And basically how it works is because the makeup is not really, I would say it's not really free form in how you put the makeup on. There's basically sections of your face that you can go ahead and basically, or your face or the other, I don't say enemy's face, your client's face, that are like predetermined on where makeup will go. So, you know, when you do eyeshadow, it'll always be within kind of the same space. And then you can kind of change the thickness of what you apply that makeup on basically 3 levels. The first time through is basically a light makeup. The second time through is like a normal application, and the third time through is like a thick application. And so once you kind of get an understanding what the game's looking for, you know, understanding when they're asking for light, and then nothing, or thick makeup. When I say nothing, I mean like medium amount. Will really kind of give you an idea of like how you can score well in these different jobs that you're doing. So if you do succeed, you get gems, and you also get like a popularity level. I don't really know what the popularity level even does, honestly, but you get like a popularity level up. I think it might give you better jobs, if I recall correctly. But the thing I liked most is that when you go and do a makeup for someone, a makeup job for somebody, I don't know how you would put it, you basically get like a little story. So when you choose a job, it's like, hey, I want to go confess to my crush, and he's like a surfer dude. So I want to have, you know, a light earthy tone kind of thing, or more natural tone. And then so you get to have that initial conversation where they tell you that. And then when you go, after you finish the job, assuming you do it correctly, you'll get to go see kind of the after result of what happens. And it's nothing crazy, but it's, you know, kind of nice just to see the two get close. He's like, dude, what happened to your eyes? They're beautiful. And she's just like, yeah, I know, kind of thing. They're just like cute little stories like that I really appreciate. But on my side, I was really struggling early on because I don't know if I just didn't like do enough lessons up front, but I felt like a lot of times I didn't know what the game was asking for in terms of makeup. And I think there's a little bit of confusion on my side, or was a little bit of confusion on my side, because when you apply the makeup in the game, it appears in like these very like, I don't know if you'd say rough ways, but I think the way my friend described it, who does do makeup, said that basically all the makeup appears unblended until you finish the job. So on my side, as somebody doing the makeup, it's a little hard to like sit down and like eye out like what exactly is good or not. I haven't done makeup in real life. Maybe this is like similar to what happens in real life when you do makeup, where it's like you don't really know how it's gonna look until you get the final application. But yeah, it just made it hard for me to kind of like judge ahead of time like what exactly you would need. But, you know, there are a lot of resources in the game to help you. You can basically burn a day and say, instead of doing a makeup job, I want to do a lesson. And so in that lesson, they'll teach you something about makeup, and you might get access to new tools and things like that. And you can also, whenever you get a job, there's a limited period of time where you can kind of walk around town and ask different citizens about different types of makeup. So you can say like, hey, I'm looking for a way to get like this particular look, like a wintry look, and like, oh, bring in the green eyeshadow, apply it thickly, that kind of thing. So you get to kind of go around town and kind of ask people for different pieces of advice and things like that. So I think the game at its core is really cool. I just really struggled with it because I did struggle to find like what the game was looking for a lot of times. And again, I think if I had paid a little bit more attention to lessons instead of just jumping right into jobs, I think that would not have gone so difficult for me. I felt like I failed so many makeup jobs, and I couldn't really understand why I was failing them. But, you know, maybe if you understand makeup more ahead of time, you'll get more out of it in that regard. But I do love the general package of this game as a whole. The little town aspect of the game, you can go around and date basically 3 different boys. And so you can kind of get a little story there. You have like a surfer dude, like a punk rock dude, and then also, I forget the last guy. Oh, he's like the sporty type. He's like on the soccer team or something like that. Cody. And so you get like these little kind of small, simple romance stories. And they're usually just kind of like, you'll ask them out, or they'll ask you out on a date. You say yes. You can go and dress up for them. I don't really know if dressing up for them did anything, but I would try to match their general vibe and things like that. So I would try to dress up in a way that felt appropriate for them. And then you go on a little date. And sometimes it's a pretty simple date where he's just like, oh, let's go get spaghetti. And you eat spaghetti and like, thanks, Sean. That was a wonderful spaghetti date. And that's kind of it. But other times you get like these full kind of scenes with like, you're at the aquarium and you know, it's him there talking to you about the different fish in the sea and things like that. So there's a little bit more detail here and there, but it's nothing crazy. This is not like a full-on Otome visual novel. It's like a nice little touch on top of the rest of the game kind of thing. There's also a bunch of these little like mini games and stuff you can play as well that get you money. And I honestly feel like the makeup jobs in this game are probably the hardest place to make money. I feel like washing dishes, decorating cakes, sorting flowers, and all this stuff is way more effective for making money, and that lets you buy more clothing items. You do need to buy your makeup supplies. They're pretty cheap though, so it's easy to just like stock up on a ton and just kind of leave it at that rather than like sitting there and like stressing too much. But you know, you do have to watch your money. If you're buying too many clothes, if you run out of makeup, you gotta go wash some more dishes. So yeah, but it's just a cute game overall. I think aesthetically it's really nice looking. I just wish that I had a little bit more patience for the gameplay itself. Where I feel like if I had spent more time doing the studying, I would have maybe had a better experience up front. It was just kind of frustrating to be like, I don't understand why this girl asked for like a summery look, and like the things that I applied that I thought were summery, like this like yellow eyeshadow and stuff that I felt like I learned, wasn't quite working out. And you know, the game just doesn't really give you a lot of feedback. I mean, it will tell you like where you messed up. It'll be like, your eyeshadow was bad. But I wish it was a little bit more direct in exactly how to fix it. I can't remember for sure. Maybe it says too thick or too thin, but I feel like it just shows you a circle or an X, basically. And there's also bonus points. So if you do want to get creative, you can add extra stuff, and it will give you bonus points for that too. But yeah, it's just a cute game overall, like an hour long. And I don't think there's anything like... I'm not telling you need to play Imagine Makeup Artist. Do I better understand makeup after playing this game? I don't really know. I did ace the last makeup job, so maybe I understand more about makeup, but you know, I aced it with bonus points. So, you know, it was a beautiful day. I finally wrapped it up. But yeah, it's like 3 different endings. So if you do really want to like invest in this game, I think, there's a lot to do there with the 3 different runs. Maybe the first year, spend that time studying and things like that. And then maybe on your second year, just go all in, just start going on all the jobs you can, basically. And then the third year, just like kick back and enjoy your boy kind of thing. I don't know. But yeah, it's just a really fun, cute game. It's just got that very cute, cheery kind of games for girls style. Will anything ever beat Kira Kira Pop Princess in my eyes in terms of like games for girls on the DS in terms of aesthetic and storytelling? I don't think so. This game, I think, doesn't come close to that, but that's also a very different game. I love Imagine Makeup Artist for being what it is, even if I really struggled to get through it at times.